I'm Adam here with Scott and Moxie with Versatile GunDog here at Pine Hill Kennel, and we have a special guest today, Ted Cushion from Garmin. And Ted, you've got some new products here you want to introduce to us.
Yeah, we'll be launching the T20 and then the Alpha TT25 at the end of May here. So really excited. It allows us to really extend our battery life and just, make a better product for the, for that end consumer out in the field to, really address some of the frustrations they have with some of the product that's out there now.
Sure. Why don't you walk us through some of the updates with the new unit?
Sure. Now this is the T20. So, like I said, we have the T20 and the TT25. When you see T, that means just tracking. So you can see this doesn't have any of the, you can't deliver a shock with this. TT means tracking and training. So it also has the training features, which again allows you to deliver, some stimulation if needed. With the new collar, we've made it so that these are completely serviceable in the field. So if the battery, if you have an issue with the battery, we've got replaceable batteries. So you can get additional battery packs here to either extend the life out in the field. So if you do, if you're in an area where you can't charge it, you can just slap on a new battery. You can replace these straps. So you can see you've got these, the transmitter up here and your battery down here. There's a strap that connects them. Used to be these, these would break and you're without a collar. Now you can replace these right in the field real easily. Really the big story here is battery life. So, now we're gonna be able to get 68 hours of battery out of one of these collars, which is just huge. I mean, these dogs are, they're awesome athletes. They're out there, running days at a time. And when the battery dies, you lose your dog, right? You don't know where that dog is. That's a big concern. So battery life is huge. And one of the ways we've been able to do that is with this variable rate tracking, right? So what happens is when the dog's moving quickly, it's pinging the satellites more often, right? So it's sending a signal to the satellite to your device more often. But when that dog's not moving so fast, it knows not to ping that satellite as often, which really helps conserve that battery life. And that's a default setting. It's not something you need to do, you need to mess with when you get in here. So yeah, really excited about the collars. We'll show you these cool LED lights later here, but allows you you can have 8 different lights for 8 different dogs, so you can kind of see if there's low light conditions, you can actually see. There's Freddie, he's got the magenta light. You can see that on here. And then we'll also be launching the Alpha 300 handheld device. So we've had the Alpha 200 and 200i. When you see the 200i or 300i, that means it's built with inReach. So it allows you to send an SOS in emergency situations. You can also send messages to other people where you're outside of cell range.
And the one thing I want to talk about the inReach real quick for a second. So I do know you offer 2 different models.
Yep.
And I kind of push everybody towards the inReach because it is a subscription based.
Yep.
But it can just be month to month. So you never know when you might be planning a trip out west where you would want that inReach feature.
Correct. Yeah. It's you can get an unlimited subscription if you want to send messages every day, all the time. That's great. I think that's $60 a month for the unlimited. But yeah, if you just want to, you're going out to North Dakota, you got a long weekend out there, you can turn it on for, I think it's $15.99 for, just to get a 1 month and turn it right off when you get back. And you may not need it again for 6 months, but it's definitely better to have it while you're out there. And you just never know. I mean, it's so often that you're outside of cell service when you're hunting, and emergencies happen, whether it's the dog, whether it's you. We know those things happen, so it's good to be able to let your loved ones know you're okay, and if something happens, be able to get help. But the big update for the 300, again, it's a big battery life story. So now you're getting 55 hours. It more than doubles the battery life of the Alpha 200. So, and that's for both the 300 and the 300i within reach.
So with the battery, That's amazing. And you said that you have an updated battery that's potentially for that too?
Yeah.
So not only do you get 68 hours, but you mentioned something that you can extend the life of that?
Correct. Yeah, you can buy an extended life battery. So it is slightly larger. So you add probably another ½ inch, to the depth of this unit, but it doubles the battery life.
So it's relatively about the same size as the original collar size, but you're getting like seems like almost 10 times more battery life.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, I think you're at over 140 hours of battery life with that. So
That's impressive.
it's going to be nice, and it's the lightweight collar too. So that's, if you look at the actual size, I don't know if you had that other collar handy here, but you'll see that, we had the Mini, which was a little bit smaller than this, and then we've got here the TT, there we go, TT15. So you can see it's definitely a little bit smaller. We wanted to have something that had kind of a universal size, but it's quite a bit lighter. If you feel the two, it's noticeably lighter.
Yeah.
So even for smaller dogs, they're not going to have any problem lugging this around, even with that extended battery.
Well, I've got a little small Munsterlander in here and for training, and she's tiny. She can't be more than 25 pounds. And so that would be able to, the ability to adjust your collar length. That's such a great idea. So I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah, yep. And this is worth mentioning too, that the new collars are going to be reverse compatible with all of the older handhelds. So your Astros, your Alpha 10s, your Alpha 200 series, those are all still going to work with these. So we want to make sure, we know there's a lot of guys that bought, these are big investments for these handhelds and they last forever. So we know guys have bought these, 4 or 5 years ago. We want to make sure these still work. So they will still work. And yeah, with the 200 and the 300, 200i, 300i, you'll still be able to link those with your watches. So I have the, this is the Instinct 2X that just came out. So you can set that up, and you can actually see, the direction of the dog, and then also how far that dog is away. On the Phoenix series, so your Phoenix 7 that's out right now, or the Epics, which is just a brighter screen version of the Phoenix. So it uses an AMOLED display, which is just a much brighter, more vibrant display than the Phoenix. Both of those watches, you can track the dogs actually on the map.
Well, let's check out the LED lights. That one's really intriguing to me because I use my 200i every day. I've got 2 dogs, and we use it every day because we have one of the features that I love on this is the geofence. So we have a geofence around our property. So anytime my dogs go outside, the unit's on, the collars are on. So if they leave the perimeter of our house, we know immediately and we can recall them if we need to. And a lot of times we're letting them out at night, and they're hunting dogs, and so I can't tell you how many skunks have been killed in the middle of the night, and me not knowing which dog, I can smell it before it happens. But by dedicating certain LED color lights to which dog, I can see, without having to go to the unit, which dog's in which area of the yard. So I'd like to check that out.
Yeah, for sure.
So why don't we throw the collar on Mox here, and we'll kill the lights and toggle through some colors.
Kind of a pretty cyan. Got magenta.
Oh, there's a pretty girl. But you can still see that's perfect. Yeah. You can see it reflecting off the table. I mean, it is bright.
You got that yellow there. So, and you can also adjust the blink mode. So if you want it to blink fast, now you can see it blinking a little bit faster.
Put some shadow on that.
And you can have it on continuous too, right?
You can, yep. If you just want that thing to be constantly on, you can set it up there. You're doing
Very
so
cool.
good. What a good girl. Yep, go back to blue. So the idea being, you can have a whole bunch of dogs with different colors and, have an idea. And when you set it up on the collar, you can have the color right next to the dog. So you'll have a little box that's in that color. So you know, all right, this dog, and you can name your dogs on these collars.
Yep.
Or sorry, on the handheld, you can name your dogs. So you can have each dog's name with a little box, the color you pick them as.
Well, Ted, thanks for coming out and introducing us to this new stuff. We're excited to
Thanks
get
for
it in the
having me
field
out.
and-
This is great, and yeah, super excited to get these things out into the market.